Okay, so we are gonna make, sorry, I don't know where I'm standing. Hi, I'm Samantha Seneviratne, back in the New York Times Cooking Studio kitchen. I'm here for Cookie Week, and I'm gonna be making coconut cake cookies. I love all things coconut. My grandfather, who I actually never met, was the manager of several coconut farms in Sri Lanka. So coconut is in my guts, it's in my blood. So this cookie is inspired by coconut cake, you know, just like yellow or white cake with coconut frosting and coconut on the outside. The cookie itself is sort of a cross between a Mexican wedding cookie and a macaroon, a little bit chewy, a little bit crunchy, and then it's covered in this lovely cream cheese glaze and lots more colored coconut. And I made them super bright, beautiful pink. I think they look very festive. You can make them any color you want though. Let's make some cookies. I'm excited. We are gonna make the dough. It's a very easy dough. It comes together all in the food processor, super simple, super fast. We start with sweetened coconut. So I like to use sweetened. I think it has a nicer texture. I like to toast it first, again, just to bring out the flavor. You can do that in the oven, 350, 6 to 10 minutes, tossing halfway through. Almond flour, which basically doesn't add any almond flavor. It mostly just makes the texture really nice, more like a sandy shortbread. And don't forget salt. I like all my desserts to be pretty salty. Got it. Nope, didn't get it. Oh, she's sad. Okay. That's the hardest part of the whole recipe, starting your food processor. If you don't have a food processor, you can absolutely still make these cookies. All I would do is chop up your toasted coconut so that it's finer, and then you can just do it by hand or with a hand mixer. I just process it basically until the coconut is ground down and everything is well mixed. Now we're gonna add butter. This is salted butter. It's kind of now my preference for all baked goods. And this is virgin coconut oil. You can smell it. The virgin has way more coconut flavor. If you're using the refined stuff, it basically has no flavor, so definitely go for the unrefined virgin coconut oil. Also, we need vanilla. It's a tablespoon of vanilla. I'm just gonna eyeball it because I feel like more is not a bad thing. Okay, and now we're just gonna pulse this until a dough comes together. How easy is this cookie? So easy. That's it. So you can see it's like come together into a nice pliable dough. Okay, so now we're gonna scoop it. You can do it a few ways. It's 1 tablespoon scoops, 15 grams each. You can use an actual tablespoon and an offset spatula to kick it out. You can weigh it, or if you have a 1 tablespoon cookie scoop, you can use that. Because this dough has to chill before you bake it, so you wanna just portion it out. You should get about 40 cookies. You could do this step too, weigh in advance, and then freeze the balls until you're ready to bake them in 3 months or whatever. Or you could just bake a couple at a time, which is my secret move, so that I can just have fresh cookies for myself at all times. And then once you scoop them all, I would roll them into a nice neat ball. I don't know if I put that in the recipe, but it should be in there if I didn't. Because the shape of your final cookie is just gonna be like a little tighter and cuter and more perfect if you roll them. It's not essential if you're short on time, but it's those little tiny details that make your cookies just that much cuter.
You did mention to roll into balls.
I did? Okay, good. Phew. That's what Artie says phew instead of few, and it's my favorite thing in the world. So now I say phew. Phew. Oh, it's so much more fun to do it with a friend.
Yeah,
Thanks.
you're welcome.
In Sri Lanka, they put coconut in everything. Coconut flake, coconut milk, coconut oil, coconut. My other grandfather used to even put coconut oil in his hair. So he always smelled like coconut. So I feel like it's a very familiar flavor and smell to me. So now I have my 40 balls on my little sheet tray, covering it, and we're gonna freeze it until they're firm, so at least an hour or two. But you know, if you want to transfer this to an airtight container and freeze them for months, you totally could. So we have 2 parchment-lined sheets. I would not use a Silpat. I would use parchment or nothing, because I just think Silpats are too slippery and everything sort of like, you know, just does weird things. So parchment or nothing. You can put them pretty close together because they don't really spread if they're properly frozen. So you could put 20 on each sheet, which is nice. These go into a 350-degree oven for 15 to 17 minutes. You basically just want them to be golden brown on the bottom and set. They shouldn't change shape too much. You can rotate them halfway through, even though I never do. This is the fun part. We're making the outside coconut to decorate our cookies. So we're gonna use, again, sweetened flake coconut, but not toasted. When it's white, the color will really be beautiful. If you don't feel like doing this whole coconut glaze business, you could just take the cookies and toss them in powdered sugar when they come out of the oven, or even just drizzle them with chocolate. Call it a day. That would be beautiful and delicious. But if you feel like getting fancy, this is pretty fun. We're gonna add some gel food coloring. I'm using gel because gel is just that much more vibrant. If you just have supermarket food coloring, you can totally use that too. It'll just be a little paler. Come on. That's why you're supposed to use a toothpick, but it'll be fine. So let's see what color we have. Ooh, it's gorgeous. And I'm blending it down mostly just because of mouthfeel. Honestly, when I did it without blending the coconut down, they looked kind of fun and fuzzy, but then when you eat it, it was just too much long coconut strands in your mouth. So pulsing it down into finer grains just makes the experience of eating the cookie a little better. Ooh, look at this color. I'm into it. I'm not gonna add anything else. So now we're just gonna make a very simple cream cheese glaze that's gonna cover the outside of our cookie and help our coconut stick on there, and also sort of calls to cream cheese frosting in the original coconut cake. If you don't want to use a hand mixer, you could do this by hand, absolutely. You could also heat your cream cheese in the microwave just a little bit so that it incorporates a little more easily by using a spatula. But if you have a hand mixer, this works well. So now this is sort of sandy and mostly incorporated, and we can add milk a little bit at a time. You want it to be a nice runny glaze. It's not a frosting, it's a glaze, so any excess will fall off the cookies. I'm adding my milk a little bit at a time just so that I don't make it too runny. You can always make it runnier, but it's harder to make it stiffer. Okay, that looks great. Yum. Our cookies need to be completely cool before we dip and top. They're so cute. You can see they're like cracked a little and nice and golden on the bottom. Okay, cookies are out. Let's transfer them to cool. You don't want to glaze them when they're hot because the glaze will just run away. I really want to eat one of these right now. They're really good plain. If you just want to call it a day and stop right here, you'll be happy. So all we have to do, turn them upside down, dip them in your glaze all the way down, let some of the excess come off, and then into the coconut. So cute. I like to redistribute it a little just because I'm like that, because I want it to be nice and evenly covered, but you certainly don't have to go crazy because they look so cute. I mean, you could stop right there. How cute are those? But if you want them to look like little Muppets, then you gotta put them in the coconut. They really remind me of Muppets. they're done and they look as cute as can be. If you want the glaze to set up a little bit, you can pop them in the fridge for a few minutes. If you're gonna store them for a long period of time, I would throw them in the fridge just because of that cream cheese. But they're good for a little while out. Yeah, let's taste cookies. They're like perfectly sandy in this way that's not unpleasant. It's just like they're crunchy and buttery and delicious. If you like butter and you like coconut, then I think you'll like these cookies. I do. You can find, I have coconut on my face. You can find this recipe and all the wonderful Cookie Week recipes at New York Times Cooking.
More cookies. How pretty.
Oh, I get to try everybody's cookie?
Oh, how pretty. Oh my goodness.
Well, this makes a very nice tin.
I feel badly having this whole tin to myself. And I also need to eat a vegetable like so soon.
I'm gonna have like short circuit in a minute.
These are beautiful.
These are Eric's, right?
Yum.